Hey, everybody, and welcome to KOIN Conversations. I'm Emily Burris, very excited to be sitting down today with someone who is so in the know about some of the best things to do here in the Rose City and beyond. If you are looking for some fun food, good drinks, and an amazing time, then I hope you've already heard of Nom Nom Nori. She is an influencer and so much fun to talk all things food and wine with. Please welcome Nori DeVega. Hey, Nori, how you doing?
Hello, so good now that I'm spending time with you.
Oh, I'm so excited to be chatting with you. It's exciting to get off the air and have a little more of like an off mic kind of hang to dig into all the fun stuff that you find yourself in. You are a girl on the go. I swear, I get so many ideas from you. How do you stay on top of everything happening in this town?
I think it's just the choice of hobby, right? Everybody's got their thing. I'm such an indoor cat, like I don't do outdoors that often, and so we do really well in Oregon, but because I'm such an indoor cat, I know what's going on indoors, so I got you.
Yes, you absolutely do. One of the things that I think is so incredible about this town is we are just overflowing with incredible talent in the food and beverage space. I consider myself a foodie and I have a hard time keeping up with everything that is happening around here. So I'm curious, how do you stay on top of all that's going on and what catches your eye when you're looking for the things that stand out in a very crowded, restaurant, an event, and food and wine scene? How do you find stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram has been just the best tool. I think that's how I've found myself becoming a creator on Instagram primarily. Instagram is really just a great marketing tool for businesses, small businesses. And so just spending time, scrolling really helps me stumble upon some of these treasures. But other than that, it's pretty organic. People like talking about what they're interested in. And so, even just creating connections within the industry, whether that's, bartenders, servers, chefs, you really get to be in the know just because organically they'll talk about the things they love.
For sure. I guess I should back up just a little bit before we get into just this wealth of food and knowledge that you have here and learn a little bit more about you. The person behind Nom Nom Nori, as you're known online and on social media. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you first found yourself in Portland.
Yeah, I mean, so Cliff's Notes version, to anybody that used those, I'm dating myself as a millennial. Um, so the high level version is, so I was born in Manila, Philippines. That's where I was born and bred. And then my family decided to move to Reno, Nevada, for various reasons. One of those reasons being my health. We needed to move somewhere with, less pollution. Manila is a big metropolitan city. Less pollution and drier climate to help with my respiratory issues. And so I lived in between Reno and Manila for most of my formative years, my entire childhood, all up until my adulthood. And then by the time I was in college, my entire family realized they didn't like living in the States, and so they moved back home. I stayed back, with the intent of just going to college in the US. And then I found myself packing my Prius full of everything I could fit into it and not telling my family that I was moving to Portland, Oregon. Drove up here with no plan, post college, and ended up staying. I had the intention of coming here and then moving to a bigger city, but Portland's just really been so good to me, so I haven't left. So that's how I ended.
I resonate with that. Yeah, I relate to that. I moved from Florida to Portland and, hoping that this would be a more permanent spot for me. I didn't really know. I'd never been here before I moved. And this city just has a way of like instantly capturing your heart. And I just feel like we wear so much of our Portland culture on our sleeve. And I just fell in love with it immediately.
Mhm. Yeah, I didn't know that about you, about coming from Florida with no, also kind of like, oh, I've
Right?
never here or planned it, but here we are.
I'm like, fellow transplant. Yeah. And you have, found a love for the city, and the city has truly, I think, loved you right back. What first kind of got you into the influencing space, kind of sharing the things that you're finding and loving on social media?
It's absolutely on accident. It was not something that I, had on my plans or my blueprint per se. So I've always loved food. I just don't think you're going to meet a Filipino person that doesn't love food and doesn't have some level of obsession around food. And so I think for me, I was just always that friend. I was always that type A friend that was willing to, make the plans and create the or make the reservation, get head counts, etc. And so people already ask me what's good, right? Whether they're people in town or out of town. And then in during the pandemic, I mean, none of us were prepared for the pandemic. Um, so my husband, my then boyfriend, but now husband, and I bought a house in Montevilla, and it was an exciting time in Montevilla. It was like coming up to like the country cat turning into Lazy Susan. There were just like all kinds of things happening in Montevilla downtown. But then the pandemic hit literally just a couple weeks after we closed on the house,
Wow.
and we and I was terrified, right? Not only for like my own, like, oh my gosh, what does this mean for me with my job? But I was terrified for a city that's so rich in small business. And being ex-service industry myself, I know what it's like. You losing even a week of work could be something that is a difference between being able to pay rent or not. And so I was really worried for our small businesses, the people that work for small business. And really, my husband and I just had the full intention of really setting aside much more of our expenses to supporting our small businesses and our restaurants. And so the thing, though, is food journalism stopped during the pandemic, and Google and Yelp weren't reliable because people had to do creative things. So I
Yeah.
felt, okay, I should probably share publicly what I'm finding, because I was finding that people were doing creative takeout, creative porch drop-offs, sometimes outdoor seating,
Hmm.
so it, I just started I made my Instagram public. I started sharing more about that, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, you've built the kind of organically over the years this following of I'm sure both locals looking for the next big thing, and then also people who are coming to visit Portland and want to know like where to go and what to do. I'm sure people see your platform online. You got a ton of followers. You do a great job of sharing all kinds of cool stuff happening around town and around the greater Portland metro. And I'm sure they think, "Oh my gosh, she probably does this, full time and has been doing it for years." But this is not your full-time gig, right?
Absolutely not. So I think why, I still consider myself like an accidental influencer. Um, I've not ever felt a good balance to make this my full-time job simply because I love small businesses so much. And so I really, really, I admire full-time influencers because it's not only just being a small business, but you are your product, you are your
Yeah.
market, sales rep, your production, all of these things that they're able to do. For me, I just can't. I guess my brain isn't wired to where I can create that sort of business model where I'm personally funding through influencing talking about small businesses because I just can't ask small businesses to pay me to talk about them, because I love them so much. And so for me, I've always found it to be really important to continue with my career so that I have my work that I do to help me really live the life I work to live. And so this is part of me living is I want to make sure that, I'm paying and supporting and contributing to the greater community. And so, yeah, I have a Monday to Friday. I'm a salaried marketer, tech marketer. And so it affords me the lifestyle that I get to talk about and share with people and encourage people to also participate in.
Yeah, I mean that I have to give you props though because I work in media and I cannot find the time to post on social media. It's like it's that thing hanging over my head all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should do more. I should post more. I should be in touch with people more. Where do you find the time, having another full-time job, to do as much as you do?
I mean, type A. It's one of the things that like, I think that I'm not very good at still rest. And I mean that in like I don't I'm not when I have quote free time, I'm one of those people who are like, what else can I do? Like as I'm sitting here at a winery, what else can I do? Um, so of course I'm gathering that content. I'm already here. It takes me 2 seconds to pull out my phone. So there's that piece for like the gathering content. I'm already doing these things, so why not just add that extra step that really at this point is second nature. But as far as like creating the actual edits, which I do all of it myself, and like creating the copy, all of that, I guess it comes with the territory that I am by practice a marketer, and so it costs me no extra calories really to do all of that. And there's always those moments during the day where, whether that's making my coffee or, like not being able to, I'm a terrible sleeper. I'll edit then. And I mean, I think you can tell just by me talking. I I have a lot to say. So there's never like a lack of things to put on paper,
Uh-huh.
as Instagram.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I admire your drive. The type A is working for you. You cram so much into every day. It is unbelievable to me. So I want to talk a little bit about where you think the food and beverage scene is kind of headed. Portland, I think, has become such a standout location for food. We get probably once or twice a month, some kind of like, oh, we're on the national list for this. We get a national nod here. And I'm curious what you think that means for the city, like how vital you think, in particular, a lot of the food and bev is to the greater economy, and where you see this whole scene moving as we continue to kind of move out of COVID. And a lot of small businesses are still feeling some of the ripple effects from that.
Yeah. I mean, I am a firm believer as an enterprise marketer and somebody who has worked with brands. I think food is one of our biggest marketing tools. Um, so I say that because Portland, and this is why you and I ended up falling in love with this place, right? Like Portland is full of the type of energy that is so naturally creative without really trying too hard that, I think that even in our pre-pandemic super sparkly days, um, talent comes here to make things for themselves. So we aren't like Portland has, it's not in our DNA to follow trends. It is in our DNA, I believe, to just be so individual and celebrate individuality that chefs come here to cook for themselves, right? Winemakers, though, having a strong nod to classical winemaking, will kind of change and put their own spin to it, working with terroir that is still really new globally. Um, so I think because of the creativity that we have naturally, this is how to reach the consumer. How do we reach the consumer around what beauty and bounty we have in this region out better than what they can consume? And so I think, like that is one of the differentiators for Portland, Greater Portland area, and Oregon, and our marketability is that we are deeply creative with access to excellent resources, and that those are two superpowers that not every region has. And so I think, with all of the nods that we've been receiving, I think that that also comes with, it's kind of like our gift and our curse here. Like sometimes we're like, we care about, we like awards, we celebrate awards, but we like sort of don't care about them. Like it's not, people don't, one of the things I've noticed between where I come from and bigger cities to Portland as a city is people aren't like out in the scene to be seen. You're not going to see people that are like head to toe super loud designers driving Ferraris. Like you'll see that, in certain spots, certain places, but it's actually not the norm here.
I can't think of places where it's like, ooh, that's the restaurant to go to if you want to see and be seen. We don't really have that here.
and I mean, it's like even places that kind of fit that bill, it's still like in this super effortless, like just it's not like, because I think like in big cities, you'll go to like a place that's like a C to B scene type of place. The food is like okay, right? Like
Right.
the food is, you're not
Yeah.
there for
The vibes are never
culinary.
at the expense of the food here, you know?
No, 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 no. Yeah, like there are places where like the vibes are bonus.
Hmm.
But like I think here it's more common that what you'll consume will be absolutely delicious, whether you got it from the grocery store or you got it from, a multi-James Beard winning restaurant.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, before I get too hungry, we are going to take just a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how we survive in this social media world and with everything online. How do we keep it real? We're going to talk about that coming up. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to KOIN Conversations. I am here chatting with Nori De Vega. You probably know her as Nom Nom Nori, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. You can find her there now. Nori, I wanted to ask you, as someone who, is online for such a big part of their day and their life, how do you pull back from that? How do you find time, to go touch grass, to be in the real world? Does it ever start to feel like it's too much?
I mean, the luxury of not being a full-time influencer is, like I'm not tied monetarily to creating content. Anything that really helps me just naturally have the balance and outlook that like nothing is an emergency. Like things can wait till tomorrow. And so I think there's that part of it. But also, I have like two beautiful, amazing dogs who I consider my kids. And so I kind of can't not be outside or pull away because they always, I see them as my anchors to keep my feet on the ground, and also get me outside to touch that scent grass.
I'm so glad you brought up your dogs because, yes, you have two. They're Shiba Inus, right?
No, they're Basenjis
The
actually.
Sinjis. Okay.
Yeah,
What are their
yeah.
names?
So Anouk, she's the red one, and then Klaus is my brindled, beautiful boy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I'm purposefully not pulling up some of your content while we talk here because I want people to go and find you on your channels and on your platforms. If you don't already follow at nom_nori on Instagram or TikTok, you got to go because in addition to all the great food and wine content, you do have some grade A dog content. My dog Samwise and I, big fans. Have you always been a dog person?
I've always been a dog person with really bad allergies, and
Mm.
so it's a luxury that, my husband found a breed that works really well for me.
Yeah. And Portland is such a dog friendly city. I got my dog once I moved here, and I don't think I've lived in another place that is as friendly and seamless, to have a dog and go do all the things. What are some of your favorite things to do with your pups around town?
So our dogs fit our lifestyle, so we have been taking them out with us since they were puppies, whether that is long road trips or at restaurants every day. So they're very, very used to traveling and eating at restaurants.
Uh-huh. Do they have a pretty refined restaurant taste now? Or are they like, no kibble, please?
Actually, and I cook for them. So yeah, they do have roasting pellets because mom cooks for them. Everything's organic and oh yeah,
Oh my
they live
gosh. Yes, they hit the doggy jackpot. Yeah, I have spoiled Samwise with so many treats now. He's like, oh, the same thing for dinner again. Come on, I gotta step up my game. Well, so what's your advice for people who are wanting to get more into the social media space? I'm the first to tell people, who ask me questions about like what they see on TV. I'm like, oh my gosh, a lot of it's fake. Like I like self tanner, white. Like I will tell people like I do this and this. Like this is what it takes before I go on camera to make everything look a certain way. I work really hard to be transparent about a lot of that stuff because I think it's so easy to get caught up in the appearance of everything online and compare yourself and you're not comparing yourself to reality and you have done such a good job of really I think staying really authentic online. So I'm curious what your advice is for people who either want to do similar things that you're doing or just who want to be more in that world.
I think just like everything, align to your values, right? Like, so if one of your values is rooted in sort of, becoming this public figure that has a super polished appearance, whatever, all that's authentic to you, so do that. But for me, like, I'm not wearing makeup right now. And so, I think that people oftentimes get really caught up in wanting to keep up with the trends, keep up with the times. But if we all did that, then the social media would be so monotonous and everybody would look the same, which actually already is starting to happen, I feel like, or
Yeah.
has been happening. Um, I think like celebrating individuality is really, really important, and the best way to do that is to stay authentic to yourself and like remain close to your values. Like to me, you're never gonna find me using a template, and like kind of trying to chase that viral moment because I honestly don't care. It's not the type of content I personally like to consume. And so my things are never gonna be super quote aesthetic. They're not good because I don't know how to do that. Um, and it's also not going to be so highly curated because that's also not how I consume.
Yeah.
So I believe that, like, for me, just staying aligned to your values and what you personally like, it shows. It shows in your content. It shows in your messaging. It shows in how, like you present anything when you're excited about something. Like excitement, true evangelism sells. And so don't worry so much about the metrics. Don't worry so much about like staying up to date on the styles. I really do think authenticity is something that people sense and it will find the right audience if your intent is to find a specific audience.
Well, we are lucky to have you here in Portland and to have your authentic voice helping others live their best foodie lives as well. Before I let you go, I would be remiss if I didn't get at least one rec. So what is your like go-to either type of meal or place in town, like the one that you know is going to hit every time?
I mean, I will always tell people to go to Con. It's like our star quarterback of a restaurant. So as far as like a specific rec, but for me, I think my main recommendation to fellow Portlanders and those who are coming to visit is experience more than just Portland. And I mean that in like, like don't just go to the places on lists. Don't just go downtown or close in. We have
Hmm.
so many gems in the surrounding areas in the greater metro. I live in Montevilla, but not like, really super cool Montevilla. I'm like still further east. And there is like just any day, my husband and I will just go to like a random, Asian restaurant. We're like, whoa, these are the best rice rolls we've ever had. So much to see and do here. But also, we have this amazing like wine region. Even if
Hmm.
you're not a wine drinker, there's ciders. There's a lot of creative energy surrounding Portland. That some of the best meals, some of the best things I've ever consumed have come from places outside of the greater metro. So I think really playing in your own backyard. Portlanders, we all know that we try not to leave this place in the summer because it's so
Yeah.
mad. But we are not tied to just Portland. It's an easy hop, skip, and a jump to wine country, and you can just do a quick day trip to just get out of the city and breathe some cleaner air.
Hmm.
So that's my main recommendation is really explore more. Don't rely on the lists.
Yeah, no, we do. We live in a food and wine playground. Is what I tell people. We are so lucky, and we're so lucky to have you here. Thanks so much, Nori, for hanging out with me for a little bit today. Where can people find you?
At Nom Nom Nori or really anywhere in Portland, I'm when I'm not at home working or traveling, I am out. And I don't mean out, you're not gonna find me in the mountain. But I know it has nature back here, but you can find me at grocery stores, hopping around. I will usually share on Nom Nom Nori where I am in real
Hmm.
time. So if you see me, please say hi.
If you do decide to head out to the mountains, you can ask me for some Rex. I got you there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
So good to chat with you, Nori. Thanks so much for joining us. And thanks to everyone for hanging out with us here on KOIN Conversations. It's been a fun one. Take care.